All right, everybody. It is time to go over the different IDEs you're going to use for this class. I've got most of the files, at least for Windows, posted on Canvas. But you can download the Mac version or Linux version or whatever else just by doing a couple of quick Google searches. Let's start with idle. Or not. I probably need to reboot my system, but my little search thing is not working very well right now. So let's scroll over here and I'll just find it by default. Should be right here. There we go. Idle. Now, this right here is just basically the shell. We can run simple stuff here if we want to, like so, and it will actually run it here. Now, as far as where we're going to write code, though, we're going to use basically a new file. And the reason we're going to do that is simply just because, well, I can save this file, and I can load it up later. If I just use the interpreter, which is what this is, I can run code and you can see me do it this way. But it only works a line at a time, and I can't really save all the stuff I've input here, at least not as easily as I can here. I want to write my code over on this side. Woo. And then run it from here. And of course, if you haven't saved it, it's going to ask you to save it. And I'll just say, we'll just call it test. Oh, now I should mention this. As far as like how I save things, generally speaking, I'll put the date. So underscore, if it's like January, for example, 5th, let's say, 2029 or something along the lines of that. And then, intro something. Then I would put it like this. Now, as far as what you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. I do this because when I save it, I'll get a whole list of my programs that I've built in class or watching the videos, and they'll be in date order, whatever that happens to be. So, January 5th, January 6th, January 7th, and it'll just have it listed directly in order. Now, of course, you could order it by creation date or by date modified, but this would automatically have it have it in order. So you wouldn't have to hunt for that. I'll just leave it as test for now. Now, all the code and stuff I write here, I can simply run and you'll see it'll run over here. Just put a little bit more in there just so we can kind of see. And there you go. You see that's the first run, this is the second run. So I can write all my code here and boom, it should appear there. Now if I malfunction something, of course it's going to tell me, something's wrong. And a lot of the time it'll show you exactly where that is. Other times, let's see here. I'll just put yay here, like this. I run it, and this time you see it showed me over here instead of here. It depends on what kind of error it is. But in this case, it tells you, there's an issue here, and it shows me this. Now, I would probably want to show line numbers here. That does tend to help because it tells you what line it is. So I would turn that on. That way you can easily find wherever your issue is. There you go. It tells you the issue's there, and then I can fix it later. Now, when you're done, you can close it out. And if you want to open it back up, you just open it back up. And now I can run it again. And you can do this pretty much for every program we're going to make throughout the semester. Now, the other thing we're going to work with is Netbeans. Boop. There we go. Now, idle deals with Python. Now, as far as languages go, Python is relatively, no, go away you. There we go. Python is relatively simple, straightforward. As far as what you have to write and all that stuff, it's a lot more simplistic. That can be good and can be bad. Java, on the other hand, is a little more complicated in some places. Let me just pick something here. So when I make a new project, and I'm just going to go up here to File, New Project, even though you may not be able to see the whole thing. And I'll just hit Next. And the same thing I usually do here is whatever the date is, whatever it happens to be, and then, intro, whatever. Now, whenever I name this, I come down and there's usually a little extra thing here. You'll see there's two of these. I always erase the second one. The program will still run if you don't do that. It's just that the naming sense will be a little different. You'll have this little package thing at the top, like this here, which can be rather annoying for when you're coding later on. It won't really affect the program if you know how to deal with it though. But I prefer just not to have it there. So if I hit finish, it'll make me that project, and it gives you the template. Now you'll notice Python's template is basically a blank page, whereas this one actually has a little bit more structure to it, like so. So as I do this, I'm still going to run this. There's actually a little play button up here, just above this screen. And you can also just press F6, and it'll run too. There's also a menu up here that says Run Project. Right up here, and it's F6. It'll run my program, and you'll see the output pop out right here. Now, the nice thing about this is simply if there's an issue or an error or something, it will immediately show you before you even run or do anything. If you misspell something or mistype something, it will immediately say something right there and then. Python, or at least IDLE, is a little bit more less giving. You have to usually run it before you can actually see your issues. But it also has a lot more leeway in how you write and name things too. So those are our two options here that we're going to use this semester. If you need any help getting those installed, just let me know. But the files are on Canvas, and if you need Mac versions, they're out there too, and it's all free. So if you have any issues or questions or problems, just let me know.